Hey, what's good morning, everybody? How you doing? How you having a good time? Are you having a good time? Are you having a good time? Are we all having a good time? Good, good. I'm glad. I'm glad everybody is having a good time. So, hey, everybody, welcome to Randy Brown's Marvel review. We're going to be reviewing the latest Marvel films. One of the uh, one of the things I want to talk about is the fact that uh all I've seen all of the Marvel movies that came out this year in the theaters. All right. So I would really like to talk about those. I'm going to be filming the Breen saga very shortly. Uh I am charging my camera right now, and as soon as my camera charges, I'm going to be up and running and shooting Breen Part 7. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, so comment, subscribe, drop me a like, and I am going to be reviewing Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and Antman. And I made a bunch of notes, and I'm going to go through those notes right now. Again, the first Marvel movie that I saw in the theaters in the past 6 months has been Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Okay, so the first thing I want to say right off the bat is I'm a big Benedict Cumberbatch fan. I like what he does. I think he's a great actor. I loved him in the Sherlock series. He's been in tons of good movies. A lot of people didn't like Star Trek Into Darkness. I did, and I thought it was really good in that. And Quattro, yeah. I saw you in the Discord, Quattro. I know what you're trying to get me to say. That was pretty funny. But yeah, I like Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he's a cool actor, and also Elizabeth Olsen is in the movie. She plays Wanda Maximoff, or the Scarlet Witch. Um, and basically, let me go over the plot of this movie for those of you who haven't seen it. Yeah, the dude. I see you too. Yeah. So I like Elizabeth Olsen, and the plot of the movie is basically this. There's this kid, she gets transported into our world. She can open up different dimensions in the multiverse, and Wanda is coming hot off her show WandaVision, and she wants to have her kids back because her kids are not available in this reality. So she wants to find the girl that can swap dimensions and travel through dimensions and travel to a dimension where, all of her kids are. Whoa, what are your teeth? Whoa, Randy, looking good. Yeah, these are veneers, which I'm going to be wearing from on a lot of things. Yeah, they do look good. I'm going to be wearing them in a lot of things, but they're veneers. They were $50. I had these for a really long time. Thank you, the dude. Thank you, Exim Visions. Are they new? Actually, no. I've had these for about a year and a half. I wear them in a lot of my skits, but I got a little bit of a lisp when I wear these. So if I show you my actual teeth, part of this tooth is just totally fallen out. So if I took these off, you would see it does not look good at all. So yeah. Uh, so yeah, Elizabeth Olsen wants to find the kid that can jump between multiverses so that she can be with her kids. And the problem with that plot is this. She decides, yo, Randy, Bo Bandy, what up, Pierceman 26? So basically, here's the problem with this plot. The problem with the plot is basically she could go into a different dimension where Wanda is dead and be the mother to those kids. Or uh at the very least, she could just adopt kids. She doesn't have to murder everybody in the multiverse. This is one of those plot plot contrivances that doesn't make sense when you think about it. It's kind of like a dream that you have, and the dream is really cool, but then you wake up and then you realize the dream didn't make any sense. It's kind of like the having the reality stone in Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. It's like, and Stephen Colbert just said, "Hey, you know what? Why don't you just snap half more resources into the universe, and that would be the end of it." Pierce says he liked the stream. Yeah, dude. Sup, Visions. Yeah. So yeah, that's a plot device that doesn't really hold water. There's got to be several dimensions where Wanda is dead and her kids are, orphaned. So basically, all you need to do is you just need to transport yourself into a dimension where the kid's mother is dead, and problem solved. But she doesn't do that. She kills a bunch of people, murders dozens upon dozens of people because she wants her kids. And again, I like Elizabeth Olsen as an actress. She's pretty hot. She's pretty sweet, and I just felt bad for the character because all she wanted was kids, but she just did not have the right frame of mind. Gotta love Brandy's dark humor, Visions, LOL. So yeah. So here's one of the things I did like about the movie. We got to see Professor X from the Fox X-Men series. I really like that, and there was even a part in the movie where we got to see Professor X with the X-Men theme song in the movie. Anyways, just wanted to say hi, buddy. Go to take a nap, but I wanted to show my support. God bless. Good night. Call me later. So, okay, I'll call you later. But after this, I'm going to be filming some of the Breen saga because I can't sleep. So, yeah. But again, Wanda could have just adopted. She didn't need to murder scores and scores of tons of people. And here's another plot device that doesn't make sense. Wanda is a witch, right? So can't she just like manifest some babies into her belly? I mean, I think for a witch who can, hold up buildings with her mind, I think she could have a little bit of more of a say of what she's doing uh, to her body. Like, I mean, even if she's barren in this reality, I'm sure, like, Doctor Strange or some sort of magical person like the Ancient One could manifest some babies in her stomach. Hell, Randy could manifest some babies in Elizabeth Olsen's stomach. So yeah. And then another problem of this movie, and this is a problem with the whole WandaVerse thing, is that there's no accountability because it doesn't matter who dies, they can always come back. Now that's kind of a good concept because we like to see other people from other realities. It was cool in Spider-Man No Way Home. We got the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and then we got the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man along with the Tom Holland Spider-Man. And seeing all three of those actors on the same stage at the same time was pretty cool, pretty hype. But again, you come to this impasse where there's no stakes, and if there's no stakes, you end up not caring. And then if you don't care about the movie, it's just like it's a dumb, boring movie. You don't want to watch it, all right, night. Then call me tomorrow night. Okay, I will. And then another thing is this is a Sam Raimi movie. I'm a big fan of Sam Raimi. I like almost everything he's done. I liked Evil Dead 1. I liked Evil Dead 2. I liked Army of Darkness. I liked Darkman 1. I liked all three of the Spider-Mans. The last three, the third one was stretching my patience a little bit, but I did like the third one. It wasn't the greatest film on the planet, but it was good. Had like lots of decent action and had some characters that I cared about. But yeah, I was expecting a lot more from Sam Raimi. I was expecting a lot more practical effects and a lot less CGI. And I was really hopeful to see some more practical effects, like some puppets or, some a lot of prosthetics, but a lot of the wounds in the film seem to be all CGI. And CGI just takes me out of it, especially when the CGI is badly done. And I don't want to rip on Sam Raimi, but most of the CGI in this film was not that good at all. Okay. And then the last thing that I didn't like about this film is a problem that they're going to have a lot with virtually every film in the Marvel universe, especially the Eternals. Both Doctor Strange and Wakanda Forever have a case of the where the hell are the Avengers syndrome. Because an Ant-Man figured out a way to like circumvent that loophole. So when I start reviewing Ant-Man, I'll get to that, how they circumvented that. And it was very smart, and I like that part about Ant-Man. But yeah, the thing about it is that in the Marvel universe, you have tons of different things going on everywhere, and world-ending events. And it's like in Doctor Strange, where were the Avengers? Like this is Wanda is threatening the multiverse, which means not only is she affecting everybody in this universe, but she's affecting everybody in multiple universes. So you would think that this conflict would be like you would think that this would be a life-shattering, earth-shattering event that the Avengers would want to, help stop and put a stop to. But again, they're nowhere to be found. So that was basically my review of Doctor Strange 2. Again, it's very creative. There's a lot of different universes that they go through. I liked the Bruce Campbell cameo where he's punching himself in the face, and Doctor Strange says, "Oh, he's going to be punching himself in the face for 2 weeks." And I'm like, that pizza vendor was kind of a dick, but if you punch yourself in the face repeatedly for like even just 2 days, your face is going to be mashed potatoes. Like you will not have a face left. But yeah, that is my Doctor Strange 2 review. I give it a 7 out of 10. Again, not the best movie in the world. There's a lot of ridiculousness to the plot, but for the most part, it was pretty interesting. I mean, it was okay for a Marvel movie. It's definitely not the worst one I've seen. And then we come to Wakanda Forever. All right. Now, my views on Wakanda Forever are probably going to be pretty controversial. Number one, I did not care for the first Black Panther. It was not, I didn't like the movie. There were no memorable scenes in Black Panther 1. Actually, I'm lying. There were 2 memorable scenes in Black Panther 1, but they were memorable for bad reasons. The first memorable scene from Black Panther 1 is where the Killmonger and Black Panther are fighting near the waterfall, and I looked at the effects in that and I said, wow, that's pretty damn crappy for a Hollywood film. Pretty damn crappy for a Marvel film. Like the CGI looks terrible. Like this is obviously a CGI background with green screened actors dropped in it. It just looked awful and horrible, and I was like, wow, this is I'm probably not going to see this movie again. And then the other scene that I remember from Black Panther 1 was not memorable either, because but it was memorable because the Real Housewives had a little cut scene during Super Bowl weekend, and they were implanted throughout the scene in the casino in Black Panther 1. And that's the only reason I remember the casino scene, because, all these Marvel characters are fighting, and then the Real Housewives of, New York are like running around and interacting with everybody. But yeah, Black Panther 1 was a pretty forgettable movie. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was great. And a lot of people hail and tout Black Panther 1 as like the breakout African American movie, and I'm like, okay, what about Spawn? What about Meteor Man? What about Blank Man? What about Catwoman? What about Blade? Like, there's what about Spawn? I mean, there were a ton of other movies starring African American characters. And, I don't know why, but everybody pretends like Black Panther was like the first movie ever made. Steel with Shaquille O'Neal. There were tons of other superhero movies starring African American characters. It's so dumb that they're like, oh, this is the first one. This is the first one. It's not the first one. Not even by a long shot. It's like the eighth one, Uh, and then another thing I think that's ridiculous about Black Panther 1 and Black Panther 2 is, why are we hoarding the flower juice? The flower juice is what makes Black Panther strong, what makes him into a superhero, but why are you hoarding that? Like, why don't you just give the Black Panther juice to everybody in the city? Why don't you give the Black Panther juice to everybody in the country? Like, if they are the most civilized country on the planet, like everybody claims Wakanda is, like, why don't you just give that to everybody? I don't understand it. That's like, hey, you know what? President Biden, we got a super soldier serum. Okay, great. So who did we give it to? It's like, no, we've got like thousands of super soldier serums. It's like, great. Why are we only giving that to one person on the entire planet? Why are we doing that? Well, this guy's the only good guy. Really? This guy's the only good guy in the entire planet that we can give the super soldier serum to? That's just dumb and stupid. Why would you, that would hold back your entire country? I don't know why you would, you know, I mean, come on. So, and the villain for Wakanda Forever is Namor. And they did Namor pretty dirty in this film. He looks ridiculous. He wears green underoos, and he has chicken wings on his feet. He's flying around, and we're supposed to believe that the chicken wings on his feet are what's making him fly around and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not buying it. And you know what? That's pretty freaking ridiculous. And you know what? His underoos look ridiculous as well. Like, I do not like it. Not a fan. Um, it's not cool. So, and also the characters who are supposed to be part of his people look like blue Smurfs. All right, they look like Smurfs. Smurfs are not intimidating. Smurfs do not inspire fear in me. They look ridiculous. All right. And a lot of these characters are dressed like Mayans. And, there's a reason why the colonials beat the Mayans. I mean, not the Mayans, but there's a reason why the colonials beat the natives that, they attacked. And the reason is they had body armor, they had explosives, and they had guns. Body armor, explosives, and guns is going to beat spears and bows and arrows every day of the week. Every day of the week. The colonials were technologically superior, and that's how they beat everybody. So, and these characters are going up, these Mayan like characters are going up against people with machine guns and missiles and sound weapons. Like, if this was real life and not a comic book, these people would be decimated in 2 seconds. It would not even be 1% a fair fight. These people would get annihilated right off the bat, just like, all right. So yeah. And then here's the thing. Namor's big thing is Riri Williams created a Riri Williams created a detector that can detect kill Riri Williams because he doesn't want anybody to be able to recreate the machine. But here's the thing. All right, Namor, the machine is the people have received the plans. Like the people are making the parts to the machines. So it doesn't matter if you kill Riri Williams. Tons of people. That's like saying if I didn't want KFC's recipes, it's like, no, all the KFC restaurants have the secret recipe. Killing Colonel Sanders doesn't do anything. You can kill Colonel Sanders into oblivion. It's the people from having the secret recipe. So, like the military made the weapon. So they have to have the plans, and that those plans had to have been distributed. So there's a major plot flaw right there. And also Riri Williams, not the best name on the planet, especially for a super smart person. If somebody got called a Ree in college, in Collins College, Ree was it was short for something. I'm not going to say what it was, but Ree was short for something not favorable. It was not something you wanted to be called, Actually, Ree was short for RETARDED. That's what Ree was short for. All right. It was not a compliment. Like if somebody called you a Ree, it was not a term of endearment, It so the name Riri Williams is just about as ridiculous as the character is. So, and then another reason why I don't like Riri Williams, or Ironheart as she's called in the movie, the reason I don't like Riri Williams is because there is a prolonged car chase. And in that prolonged car chase, several FBI agents and several police are killed. Now, this may be fine to everybody in the Marvel universe, but if you think about it rationally and logically, okay, these police are following them for a positive motive. They're trying to stop crimes from happening. Same thing with the FBI. A lot of these people die, and a lot of these people are completely innocent, and Riri Williams kills these people repeatedly, and many people die. Like nobody dies on screen in this car chase, but many of the cars are so badly destroyed that there is no way in hell that somebody didn't die. Did I say Rihanna? I don't know. Riri. There are so many Riri Williams from Wakanda Forever, Quattro. That's who we're talking about. So yeah, several FBI agents die, several police die. They lose their lives in car crashes, and they are severely murdered. So, that kind of makes me not like the Riri character. So, and then again, this movie suffers from the same problem that Doctor Strange does. is like, where the hell are the Avengers? Like the Avengers are obviously still on Earth. They're still together, and yet they are not fighting in the war or not helping. And I'm just like, where are they? Where'd they go? You know? And, a lot of people have to come up with a lot of contrived reasons for why didn't the Avengers show up? You know? And that takes us directly into my third review, Ant-Man 3. So, and again, what's cool about Ant-Man 3 is that they figured out a way around this. And the way around the where the hell are the Avengers problem is this. Ant-Man is set in the quantum realm where a lot of the Avengers aren't. So that is a pretty darn good and creative excuse about, like, why didn't the Avengers just go here? So, yeah. But here's some things about Ant-Man. They got rid of Michael Pena, and I liked that because I thought that whole gag where, like Michael Pena's telling a story and they lip sync it, like when it happened one time, it was cute. When they did it the second time, I was like, okay, we're doing this again. When they did it the third time, I was like, all right, that's enough. I can, that's all I need to see. And then when they did it the fourth time in Ant-Man 2, I was like, you know what? This gag is kind of like run its course. It's kind of like lost its appeal. I don't really need to see this gag done over and over and over again. And I was kind of glad that Michael Pena wasn't back to bring back that joke. I didn't like that joke. It got old quickly. So the next thing is the sets look like sets. All right. During the first scene of the movie where Michelle Pfeiffer's character spots the bad guy for the first time, when she was walking around in that set, it felt like a set. It felt like, okay, like 50 feet of the floor is real stuff. And then once it gets to a certain point, it's obviously green screen. It's obviously a set. And that kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. Now, Ant-Man is basically about how Ant-Man and his daughter created a machine that can teleport people into the quantum realm, and they do it accidentally, and they have to get back to the real world, or I guess it's all real, but they have to get back to the big world, and they have to defeat Kang in order to leave the quantum realm. So that's basically the plot of Ant-Man 3. And there's a lot of things that's hammered in here and that just don't work. Like, number one, the whole ants and socialism bit. You probably heard about this. You probably heard about this bit 1,000 times, but I'll go over it for you. So basically, Hank Pym and Hope Van Dyne and all the gang gets transferred down to the quantum realm, and the ants go on their own little adventure where they live for 1,000 years and they create their own society. And apparently the ants are socialist. So Michael Douglas has a line in the film where he goes, hey, I know socialism is a charged topic, but these ants are really onto something. Now, there is quite a few problems with this premise. Number one, saying ants made socialism work doesn't really help your cause. That's like if I said, socialism worked for the Smurfs. Well, the Smurfs aren't real people, so it working for them, whether it worked or not, doesn't really hold any water. Like, if you are going to push a socialism agenda, you need to make your entire movie about that and show us an entire society and like doing a 2-hour long dissertation of why socialism works in this environment. And then again, two, the second thing, you really need to base an entire movie off socialism if you're going to sell it to us. You can't just say, hey, socialism worked for the ants. It doesn't matter. The ants are fictional characters, they don't exist. So socialism working for them just does not hold any water at all. And then here's another gripe that a lot of people had about Ant-Man 3. And this was something that didn't bother me was MODOK. All right. MODOK is a machine it's a machine, and they call it MODOK because the name of the machine is an acronym. It says machine operated, designed only for killing, or machine. I have nothing to offer in this conversation, but I've seen 03 of these movies. Oh, well, you can comment anyways, dude. Just come on. If you want to comment on anything, go ahead and do it. But yeah, it's like machine organism designed or mechanical organism designed only for killing. And here is my take on this character. This character is going to look ridiculous no matter how good the special effects are. He's a giant face with itty bitty arms and itty bitty legs. Mental, mobile, mechanized organism designed only for killing. MODOK rules. Yeah. But again, MODOK is going to look ridiculous no matter how well you do the special effects. Like, I kind of feel about MODOK the same way I feel about the Super Mario Brothers movie starring Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. All right. Super Mario Brothers was going to be ridiculous no matter how realistic you made it. Like, basically, like, back then they did not really have the technology to do Bowser or his little turtle fighters or Goombas effectively. He was bound to flop in the MCU because casual Marvel fans don't understand him. Yeah, and I was really hoping to understand MODOK's psychology a bit more and understand, his thinking process and his thinking patterns. We really didn't get any insight into the character, and I believe they kind of betrayed MODOK and his origins in the movie. I don't believe that the MODOK in the comic has the same origins as the MODOK in the movie. Damn, my voice is getting scratchy. But yeah, and that is also the problem I had with Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror, he tells us where he comes from. He tells us a little bit of his backstory. But even with all the information and backstory we get, we really don't understand his motivations or why he needs to conquer everything. It might be well spelled out in the comics, but again, I have never followed Kang in the comics. So you're preaching to someone who knows absolutely zero about Kang. So it would have been much, much better if we would have had a ton more information on, who he is, what his motivations are, like what he hopes to accomplish. Because his motivations are very hazy in the film. Another thing about Kang that is very hazy in the film is are his power set. And this is the problem that I had with Captain Marvel as well. As like, what are Kang's powers? I mean, halfway through the movie, he's talking to Ant-Man and he's talking to the daughter of Ant-Man. And there's a scene where he lifts Ant-Man's daughter up, just by the power of his mind. And he kind of like stretches her a little bit. And then he flips her to the side and, manipulates her in front of him. And it's like, I do not know what Kang's powers are. Like, obviously he has telepathy. And obviously he's super strong, but those powers don't really come into play later on in the movie. Like, I mean, at the end of the movie, he, shoots lasers out of his hand like Captain Marvel does, but he seems to lose his telepathy and he seems to lose his super strength at the end of the movie. And talking about the end of the movie, They had a plot point that could have worked and could have had a lot of repercussions if they would have went with it, and they didn't go with it. And again, this is a spoiler review, everybody. You should have known that when you clicked on here. I have spoiler review in the title. But at the ending of the movie, Ant-Man's daughter, and Kang are in a fight. And the thing about it is that there's a part where Ant-Man goes, "Yeah, I don't need to win, just both of us need to lose." So at that very moment, for about 15 seconds, you think, "Oh my God, Ant-Man is going to sacrifice himself and he's going to kill Kang and himself in one go. And that's how he's going to win the battle." But then 15 seconds later, a portal opens up. Ant-Man gets sucked into it, and Kang dies. I was like, oh, they had the option for a really cool ending, and that would have had a lot of repercussions and would have made for interesting stories after this. And then they just didn't. Then they just fumbled the ball, and they didn't go with it. I was like, oh, damn. That kind of sucks. That's kind of dumb. I don't like that. So, anyways. And then another thing that bugged me about this movie is they brought Bill Murray in for no reason. Like, Bill Murray he shows up in this movie, and there's no reason for him to be in this movie. He doesn't give any vital information. He doesn't um, do anything significant. Like, he's basically there just to say, "Yeah, I banged Hope Van Dyne," and then he's out. I thought that was kind of a punk move, and I really didn't like that. But one of the things that I did like is I was glad to see Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Douglas still getting roles. Michael Douglas is way up there in age, and and so is Michelle Pfeiffer. Again, I'm still glad to see that they are still getting roles, that they are still getting parts, because Michelle Pfeiffer is a fantastic actress. I've loved her for a long time. She's one of my favorite actresses from the 80s, 90s, and the 2010s. I thought her Catwoman was fantastic, and I'm really happy that she's still getting roles. And then lastly, I want to talk about the two endings of Ant-Man. And the thing that bugs me about the two endings is that they're both stinkers. They're both letdowns. Like, at the ending of Ant-Man, the first ending, there's actually three endings. There's the first ending, the mid-credit scene, and the final ending. And they're all real letdowns. They all are, for different reasons. The first ending, Ant-Man's like pondering like what he did in this universe, and like would he mess it up, and would the ending would the ending lead to something better? Have you seen the Banshees of Inisherin? No, I haven't, Quattro. I'll watch that sometime this month. I've heard of it. But yeah, at the ending, he kind of like considers, well, what if I did mess it up? And then he's got this weird look on his face, and then he eats a piece of cake, and then it ends. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a soft ending that kind of doesn't matter at all. It's on HBO. Okay, if it's on HBO, I'll watch it. I haven't watched it yet, but my girlfriend said it's great. Okay, yeah, I'll check it out. So the second ending, the mid credits ending, is just Kang in a bunch of bad costumes talking about how he wants to take over the world. Yeah, I liked it too. It reminds me of You and Fears. Oh dang! Well, now I gotta watch it. But yeah, the second ending is supposed to be like Kang has been all throughout history, and like Kang obviously was supposed to be King Tut in one of our timelines, because he's wearing a King Tut outfit. And then the third ending takes place in 1920s. Loki and the other guy from Loki are there from the TVA, and they're watching this guy. They're watching this guy who is obviously Kang present something, and you don't know what the something is, and then it just boom, it cuts. And I was like, oh dang, that's another big letdown. It's kind of like 3 letdowns in succession. And at the very end of the movie, it says Kang the Conqueror will return, and then the thing ends. And wow, that was seemed like to be a big waste of time. Does Colin Farrell? Yeah, yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah. That was pretty hilarious, wasn't it? The dude Fears did not know what the hell he was saying. But yeah, uh, all these films were Doctor Strange. I would give a 7. Uh, Wakanda Forever. I would just give a 1. It was so ridiculous, and there were so many things wrong with that movie. I would give Wakanda Forever a 1. I am not going to go see that movie again. Not going to watch it again, not even on a lark. And Ant-Man 3, I would give it a 6 because it was very creative. When they're in the quantum realm, there's tons of creative things and like characters and like aliens. They really did a good job of like varying the alien species, so we really felt like we were in an alien world. Again, Ant-Man, the first 5 minutes of Ant-Man take place in the real world, and then the last 5 minutes of the Ant-Man take place in the real world, but the majority of the movie is spent in the quantum realm, which is, when you're in the quantum realm, it's just like being in Star Wars. There's almost no humans anywhere, and virtually everybody is an alien. And you got a ton of alien ships and alien vehicles and alien planets. So yeah, him and Brendan Gleeson did a movie called Bruges together with that same director, which I also really liked. It had me laughing out loud. Okay. So yeah, that's basically my terrible rambling review of Doctor Strange, Wakanda Forever, and Ant-Man. Again, Doctor Strange, I'd give it a 7. Wakanda Forever, I would give it a 1. And then Ant-Man, I would give it a 6. And those are how I feel those films. I liked the eye on Doctor Strange. Well, again, Quattro, I think that was one of those instances where I would have liked a practical effect rather than a CGI effect. Again, it would have been more difficult to do a practical effect, but they could have done the practical effect and then erased the makeup around the eye, and you could have had the eye blink with CGI and then just had a prosthetic eye there. But yeah, I'm a really big fan of practical effects. And a lot of people say they didn't like the Star Wars prequels because they didn't use a lot of practical effects. Actually, in Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, they used more practical effects than they did in the entirety of the Star Wars saga up until then. And a lot of the things that people think are practical effects in the prequels aren't. I mean, a lot of the things that people think are CGI in the prequels are actually practical effects. They just look so glossy and new that it looks like CGI. Like the Senate building, the little mushroom Senate building, that was real. That was a real set. The outside, not the inside. And the tower that Padme has her little hotel in, that is a practical. That's a model. And the holes in Revenge of the Sith, the whole city is a practical effect model. And if you go on Reddit or if you look up prequels practical effects, I think it's on the forcenet.com. They have a whole 30-page website devoted to the practical effects in the prequels. So, and there's that song by Goita, the person that I used to know. Somebody did a parody of that movie, a parody of that song called "The Star Wars That I Used to Know," and then there's this whole lines where it goes, "Practical effects or nothing." It's saying that he wants more practical effects, and again, the prequels used more practical effects than the original trilogy did. But again, a lot of the practical effects in the prequels are so slick and are so glossy that they look like CGI, but they're actually not. So if you want to check that out and research that, check it out, because it's quite the eye opener. Because I thought, yeah, man, the prequels suck because there's no practical effects. There's tons, tons and tons and tons. In fact, the Force Net has like a 30-page series on it. Have you seen that documentary on Episode U2 by Lucasfilm? I don't know. I don't think so. But Quattro, I got all the prequels on DVD, and I watched every single featurette. I watched every single documentary that was on those special features. Like, I binge watched the crap out of that. So there were so many things. I mean, there were so many good featurettes. And, when the prequels were coming out, StarWars.com was a super huge thing. I think their website is either defunct or went under, because when the prequels came out, they constantly had updates every day. And I would go to that website every day to see if there were some new Star Wars news. And I was a StarWars.com addict for a while. But after a while, I started to not care about Star Wars after Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, and they really didn't have that much of dramatic updates for the sequel trilogy. And then, after the sequel trilogy came out, I just stopped going to StarWars.com altogether. They just didn't have any juicy information. I really want to see new Star Wars films, and I will say that one of the things about The Last Jedi is that I thought they had good ideas, but they didn't follow through. Like, number one, I think, and this is something that I've thought about The Last Jedi for a long time, is the fact that I think subverting your expectations would work if you were respectful to the characters. Like, if Rey had turned evil, that would have subverted expectations and it would have been in line with her character. Or if Luke had turned evil, that would have been respecting the character and yet subverting our expectations. But, subverting our expectations by making Luke Skywalker a hobo, not cool. And then also, everybody hates comedy in The Last Jedi. And here's the thing. I think comedy in The Last Jedi could work, but it's got to be better comedy than Yo Mama jokes. All right. I think if they had the same brand of comedy that like Lethal Weapon had, like serious but ironic comedy, I think it would have been a lot better than Your Mama jokes. Again, a lot of the jokes were juvenile and dumb and they were just stupid jokes, And there was even a scene where, one of the characters goes to a sauna in the casino planet and there's an alien with his ass hanging out. And then there was the whole part in the casino where there's this alien with 15 million boobs. If it wasn't juvenile comedy, if it was sophisticated comedy, I think comedy could work very, very, very well in Star Wars. And subverting expectations, I think that could work well if you respected the characters and respected the canon. But what do we get in The Last Jedi? We got Yo Mama jokes, and we got Luke Skywalker as a bum hobo. Not cool. For as many practical effects as there are, it might be Attack of the Clones. It's a real headache-inducing with how much CGI is in it, yeah. Randy, you should watch the short film that's on YouTube and do a reaction to it. It's directed by the guy who did Hereditary and Midsommar. It's called The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. Yeah, I'll check it out sometime. I'm not going to do that this week. I've got a lot of stuff on my plate right now. And again, the reason I was doing this stream is so I would have time to charge up my camera. It's almost been an hour. So I'd like to thank everybody who showed up. Thank you to the dude. Thank you to Quattro. Thank you to Fierce Man 26. Thank you to, I guess that was it. Thank you to Exhumbitions. Thanks for everybody showing up. Again, this is going to be a short stream. Can't wait for Bo is Afraid. Yeah, just add it to your watch list. Me too, Quattro. All right. So yeah, we got 15 minutes, and now I'm gonna go shoot some Breen Saga. But remember, my name's Randy Brown. I do the card tricks, but you all bring the magic, and I will see you later, alligator. Bye.